Shadow this week. This is session 9, delayed on the road. Now, Sheehan, after the Battle of the Great Grey River Basin, the pitched battle between the cultists and the Atlantean occupiers of this land, Sheehan has been in and out of the village, running errands and going back and forth between the village as well as the Pike Lord's new stronghold somewhere on the edge of the Nightfall Swamp. He has been gone for 3 chains now, and there's been a feeling of uneasiness, a disquieting tingle in the tips of Gilfek's beard, and as he knows, he is a bearded folk that is about his wits at every moment of the day, and he's quite in tune with his surroundings. Something somewhere is not right, and possibly he begins to worry about Sheehan's whereabouts and his well-being. It has been 2 months and 3 chains since the battle ended. We'll go back in time just a short time, and we will see Sheehan with a sack of tribute over his shoulder as he begins to enter the swamp. Keith, would you describe your character for us here?
So Sheehan is a very lean Don Fairfolk. Has a somewhat pale skin, though it's starting to get a bit of a gold color to it because of all the exposure to the sun that he's had recently, being out in the open plains instead of under the great wide boughs of trees that he's used to. His hair has gotten longer again, down to about a little beyond his shoulder length, black. And where before there were just a pair of scars where his horns had been literally ripped from his skull upon his exile from his homeland, there are now small protrudences, sort of almost proto horns that are very dark in color. It's hard to tell if that's darkness is the bone itself or if it's maybe just something he's picked up from the road. If he hasn't really had a bath recently, except when he's dunked himself into the water to get a drink or to splash some water on his face or on his hair, as being too clean, he believes will scare off any game that comes near him. His clothing is basic. He's got a pair of doe-skin leather pants, some crude boots that are lashed to his legs, basically a bit more than sandals, with the flaps to cover his toes and such. He wears the remnants of a what might have been a big bushy rhino hide cloak, which has been cut down now to a vest, leaving his arms bare, where he does have some dark tattoos on the right hand side. These tattoos give they're not really intricate in the fact that there's not a lot of detail there, but there are hints of whorls and knots and such like that are considered sacred to his own people, and that hunters of his kind wear to ward off the things that creep in the darkness under the trees and the boughs and such, which of course he's now met. Over his back he has a sack that's made of the rest of that said rhino hide. The contents inside are mysterious, but beginning to be a bit ripe, even though they have been preserved.
At the appointed hour, on the appointed day, you enter the swamp. You've been given instructions by the Unseelie to enter, and you now make your way into the darkness. You feel that hot and that humidness that you left not too long ago. You find your way, not having to swim at this time. There has been a path cut through the swamp that accommodates your legs, and uh, it's rough terrain, yes, but the new court is not too far off. You find a pair of great dark wood doors that are made of a lumber that you've never seen before, but it is dark like ebony, but even darker still. You do not have to knock, as this has been given. You have been given permission to come and go as you choose. As you now, it dawns on you, if you've been adopted by the court as a fosterling, you push the door. The door creaks slightly, and the inhabitants within, they all turn to you in unison. Those dark yet beautiful eyes of the unseelie. The sound of satyr singing and piping finds your ears. You close the door behind you. And the Pike Lord, the young boy that you'd left just a handful of months before, you'd left, if you gave him a reference point of age, he was about a 9 cycle old fair folk, but now you look upon a boy who somewhere between 12 and 16 cycles old. The idea that the unseelie grow up fast, or possibly have the ability to depict themselves however they wish. The young boy now wears a crown of fish bones and ebon. He his clothes are still that moss, leaves, that swamp weed, and all held together with some silken linen that the unseelie have a natural fashion for. Almost a darkness therein, too. He stands as you enter, seeing your that sack over your shoulder, and the slightest of a crack of a smirk paints its way across the youth's face. And he outstretches his arms towards you, welcoming, and goes, Sheehan, please come in, rest. There's a bench there for you. He he motions for one of the handmaidens to bring over a decanter of wine to sit next to you and offer you a cup. The floor is yours, my friend.
I graciously nod to him and say, "You've grown in power, my lord. I see. The crown rests slightly upon your brow." As I place the sack next to me and sit down, relieving my, you know, reveling in my ability to be allowed to sit in his presence. I take the wine and drink it, one good draw, a good pull, and sigh as the beautiful warmth and feeling runs down my body, relaxing me. I hand the glass to the attendant, giving him a bow of thanks, and say, "I bring you tribute, my lord." I go to open the sack. I pull out several of the ears that I had cut from the corpses of the goblins and the humans, and as I pulled them out, I explained to him that these are soldiers of the said cult. They were accosting a group of people from across the ocean, people of the fish that were not yours. They call themselves Atlanteans. I joined the battle along with some valiant friends, one who you know, Skarnir, and two valiant fellows, Gilfric and Blogvir, a bearded folk and an ogre who we met upon the road. They fought valiantly. In fact, Blogvir all but gave his life to fell one of the foe. The other I fell with a single shot. And as I get to the bottom of the bag and the array of ears that I have now laid out in a fan in front of me, With one shot, I myself slew a giant, and I pull from the bag a very heavily washed and woven shirt of giant hair. And I lay it out in the center as if it's the centerpiece of this fan of trophies. I said, "From its hair, I had this shirt woven for you, my lord."
The boy's eyes widen at the mention of a giant being slain, and he smiles wide as he stoops to uh, look down at this shirt of hair, and he looks up into your eyes and says, may I accept?"
Of course.
He
I pick it up and hand it to him.
he uh, he takes the shirt from you, and he plays with it with the tips of his fingers, kind of running it over. He's, "Oh, this is a fine gift indeed. Oh, thank you. And he's very much taken aback by this. Is there how many fairy lords?" And he turns to one of his attendants, who's an older fey woman, who equally has a smile of amusement and knowing on her face. "So, how many other fey lords have in their possession or their treasury a shirt of giant's hair?" Ooh. And the boy, he sheds his shirt right there. He just drops it on the floor, and he goes to put this thing on, and is not caring about saving face or anything, of being regal, but you now see that even Fey children are still children and can be excited. uh, he puts it on, and he begins to move in it, and he goes, it actually feels comfortable against the skin. It's not scratchy like the skin of the hair of a rhino. Ooh.
With
Tell me
that,
about your travels since last you came. And he turns and he goes back to sit upon his throne.
I tell him, "Well, my lord, when we left here, of course, it was myself and my two companions who you'd already met. We left here and crossed the river and wound up at an old keep upon a pass, which we took shelter in because storms were moving in. We may have inadvertently stumbled into the demons of another court. Unfortunately, a minion of the Lord of Harvests claimed that place, and I did speak with him. Um, he was informed of um, my devotion to you, of course. Although I did have to offer him a bit of tribute myself to for him to allow me to leave. Just obviously it was hospitality, and he had the right to demand his price, which he also wishes to have some tribute from these cultists. But from what I have seen, my lord, there shall be plenty of that to go around. Um, the Atlanteans we encountered as we went after we left there and headed south along the river, and encountered some humans, Nemercians, that had not been bothered by the cult, and they had actually performed their rituals as they should have. Derebushka is assisting us in creating a ritual to sacrifice some of these miscreants to hopefully restore the balance of the seasons as it is properly done, and restore the deal with the Reaper King.
He he simply just places his chin in his palm, and nods, accepting everything that you've said.
Well, after that, we helped these Nemersians a bit, discovered these Atlanteans across the river. They wear an armor that is oddly like fish scales, and they seem to have some kind of an affinity with the water. They're although they're odd, that their banner itself has a fish of some type, and I look around and I find a bit of dirt and I draw out this sinuous fish that was upon their banner. It looks thus. It is not a fish I am familiar with.
I am not aware of such a fish. Would you say they come from across the sea?
That is what the Nemersians told me, and one of our companions, Blogveer, he's the our ogre. He has a grievance against them, and
Well,
each
many
time that they
people
are
have
mentioned,
grievances against them, from what I understand.
yes, each time they're mentioned, he well, he utters a profanity concerning coupling with fish, which I guess is a bit of a people there. Um, but we happened to be in the vicinity when a clash between these Atlanteans and some of these cultists occurred, and the cultists were a mix of goblins, trollmen, and a few humans mixed in. And as we engaged them, um, a pair of giants joined the fray on their side. I slew one with a single arrow to the eye, and Blogveer waded in and felled the other, but not before taking a grievous wound himself. And well, ironically, the babushka of the Atlanteans wound up tending to him. I'm not sure how his mind will take that. That the ones he dislikes the most having restored life to him. But they are injured. Otherwise, my lord, they would have come here and presented themselves as well. So, but it was a
Well,
glorious battle.
I'm glad that they stayed put. I would not have your companions be injured or put to grasp just to come meet me. There will be plenty of time for that.
I do hope so. So, but since then, the giants, of course, the one that I slew, I harvested its hair, and the Nemersians there is they're the ladies of the village wove that shirt for you, with the hopes that you would look kindly upon them as well. And I told them that I would speak on their behalf, and they are a fine people, and tend the rivers there with and treat them with respect. I don't believe they're asking for patronage, only that you not see them as enemy.
If they treat the river and the waterways with respect, then of course that I will look upon them with kindness.
I will I will let them know. They'll be very pleased to hear that. Um,
If
then
they seek me as patron, then I will welcome them with open arms. What is this village called?
the village. What is that village called? Um, I'm not sure, my lord. The name escapes me at this moment. Um, I will. Cairnwood. That's what it's called, Cairnwood. So
He simply nods. I will be eagerly awaiting their tribute when, hopefully, the dust settles from this battle. There's
there
a
will be
light
plenty.
camaraderie from it.
As do we all. As do we all, my lord. Sheehan then goes on to tell him of his travels since then, and following a few of the stragglers of the cultists trying to find their stronghold. And at that time, he had not yet found it, although there were places he still needed to search. So
The Pike Lord continues with the cultists have not been operating in a fashion that I can see. in my realm. I will say that you may have to cross the great river to search for them there. Normally, I can sense such a foul presence here, but these past few months that you've been absent, I've not felt them.
Uh, if we're to cross the river, I fear we may have trouble for well, you see, Blogveer, the great ogre, he has a fear of water. He, for some reason, he believes it will be his end. So, could I by
Not
chance?
I have anything to say about such a thing. If he travels with you, then he has my blessing.
Uh, could I by chance take a token to him of some of the blessing, and so that he might actually see it, a small trinket, a bauble or such?
He thinks for a few moments. Yes, yes, of course. He gets up from his chair. He goes over to uh, kind of a small, like a footlocker, kind of a storage chest, cupboard kind of thing. And he takes out a handful of bracelets that have about river shells as well as some fish bones woven into them, kind of with this woven hemp kind of twine. He said, there are four of you."
Yes, there are four of us currently.
He returns with four of these bracelets, and but they're four human-sized bracelets. He takes one. Excuse me. He goes back and finds a necklace for a human. He brings it back. He goes, "This may fit an ogre's wrist."
May. So Sheehan bows and graciously takes them and says, "Thank you very much, my lord. These are great gifts indeed." So,
Before you leave, I have a gift for you, Sheehan Redblade.
uh,
He leads you into kind of a side antechamber where there's a statue of an unseelie woman holding kind of a platter, and across this platter is draped kind of this black linen. Upon this linen are 9 arrows. The arrows, the shafts of these arrows are made of that black lumber, that same dark ebony lumber that possibly is made out of made the door to the court, as well as the timbers that hold up the supports in the ceiling. The arrowheads, however, are made of fey iron, and they glitter in the moonlight there.
Sheehan's eyes get big.
The
Sorry.
the Pike Lord then points to the fletching of these arrows, and he says, "These arrows, the fletching, these are the feathers of the golden goose."
The golden goose. I've heard tales of this.
Yes, the golden goose. A golden goose, but there are many such things. Not in this realm, however.
Ah.
These arrows will not break in this realm. If you were to fire them in the fairy realm, they would certainly break as normal arrows would.
Yes.
As normal arrows here in the mortal realm would break. These arrows shall not break in this realm.
They are. That is magnificent arrows. I have lost many arrows to the damage that they, well, to armor and such especially. Um, the arrowheads hit and the shafts just shatter. These may I? I reach
These,
out.
yes, these are yours. You may accept.
Sheehan goes down to one knee and says, "Thank you very much, my lord. Thank you very much." He gathers them up.
As you kneel, however, he just passes his hands over your horns,
Mhm.
and he goes, "I would like for you to go and take these, and with my blessing, know that you are of this court now. You are of the unseelie as much as we." And you actually feel that aching pain, that growth hurt, that kind of like the growth pains of puberty as your horns extend ever so slightly.
Sheehan, of course, reaches up to his head and stops before actually touching anything, and then bows and says, "You honor me. You honor me greatly. I shall not besmirch that honor beyond this court or within it."
As you
He,
gather up those arrows, the Pike Lord walks you to the gate of the court and says, "Unfortunately, those arrows, you will have to retrieve them once they're fired.
oh yes,
Of course, they will not break, but you'll have to go searching for them."
and that I will do. These will be precious heirlooms to my line from henceforth into the dark days of the future and beyond.
As you leave the swamp, you almost feel a little bolstered by it, this encounter, and you are more whole of horn and possibly regaining a modicum of your previous honor. As you escape the swamp, you find yourself in the tall grass of the plain. You finally reach up and find that your horns are about 3.5, maybe 4 inches long on both sides. You feel slightly embarrassed because this is how long the horns are on teenagers. You you take a few moments and sigh and say, "Yes, I now look like an overdeveloped child."
Yes. If they can see me now, they'll be laughing, but at the same time, I'll be laughing back. He goes over to a stream. I'm sure we're near the water and looks for a calm pool to look at them to get a good view of them.
And it doesn't take you long to find such a thing. They are black,
Hmm.
black as night.
Hmm. He sort of smiles at that, fitting, and he begins loping back towards the village. The long trek to there.
It'll take you just a few days out of your way, but you come upon some worthy prey, a goblin band. You've been stalking these individuals for a handful of days, and they link up with a not a force, but an encampment.
Okay.
These goblins are possibly scouts and messengers. You do spy one evening as you're creeping in on them from the bushes. You do spy a Nemercian wearing the tattered uh, uh, burial shroud. It's kind of a long poncho-like shirt that the Nemercians drape over their dead once they bury them. This individual speaks to them in the goblin tongue, and shame on me, but I may have forgotten. Does Sheehan speak
I
the goblin tongue?
I do not know the goblin tongue. No.
Oh, okay. But okay, so in a language that you do not understand, he gives them orders, and these goblins bugger off into the night. From the edge of the camp, what does Sheehan do?
Well, of course, he can't understand anything that's being said, so he's going to creep around the edge of the camp and wait until possibly later in the evening when there are most of the camp is asleep and try to steal within and see if he can find anything written or anything that might make him think, hey, this is important. It may lead to information, and he's going to try to steal it.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. We'll say about half past midnight. Most of the camp is either uh, in a drunken, sleeping stupor or uh, scouting off. You find a gap in the in a patrol, and you're able to infiltrate the compound there. Um, the largest tent, this mortal actually slipped away into. You hear hushed whispers in the Nemersian tongue.
Well,
Actually, you count. There are 8 voices from within. What do you do?
I'm going to try to get to the edge of this tent and see if I can actually hear what they're saying.
Uh, Go ahead for stealth.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh,
It was 8 on a die 3 times. So
lovely.
let's see. So
Yep. Nope. You're basically invisible.
that is going to be on my stealth a total of a 35.
Oh, nice. Be sure to make a mark for your cunning attribute once you level up again. Now, you're able to creep up right to the wall of this pavilion, and there is a kind of a war council going on here. One kind of a raspy voice makes mention that those our giant allies will not give us any more of their number if we can continue to throw away those lives so flippantly. We will lose. We will lose them in the mountains. And the Atlanteans are meaning to push north into the Arborian homeland. And as we all know, that is going to be a bloodbath for both of them. And once Atlantis has weakened Arboria, or Arboria has weakened Atlantis, we can prey upon both. The moon is coming into. This is a different voice. The moon is coming into the correct place in the heavens. And once it does, we will be able to perform the ritual in hopes to control the Reaper King, for he is only but a demon.
Mm-hmm.
A handful of other voices accept and acknowledge these newfound orders. The rasping voice continues, I am going to cross the river to the west and continue searching for that old gray tomb within an ancient magician supposedly rests. And one of the younger attendants, you assume, is following these orders. Now, the younger attendant, you mean the tomb, the he's what tomb? I am not aware of such a thing. What is this? The tomb of the ghost owl. And a couple of them, oh, well, that place is horribly haunted. Demons, horrible things. The unliving are there. These things are of no consequence. A magician once had a spell book there so great before the time of mortals. This knowledge will help us. It will bolster the resolve of the night sky. Hopefully, within these pages, as maybe even a fraction of the black halo. What other society, what other coven would tremble if they had known the cult of the darkened face, knew the secrets of the black halo, the true magic, my friend. In the morning, I will travel and search for this place in the Suncrest Valley. I expect the rest of you to continue your search here in the hills, preying upon the tombs. The rest of them nod their accordances, and he dismisses many of them. There are 5 individuals leave the tent, but you're in an advantageous enough position where they do not see you.
Do they seem to be younger individuals?
Yes, they are Nemercians within the ages of, maybe the youngest is about 19 or 20,
Okay.
ranging from that to about maybe 31.
Okay. Okay.
The one that you saw previously speaking to the goblins, he's probably in his late 40s.
Okay. So these are definitely probably underlings, well, upper echelon underlings, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Um, Sheehan thinks about taking one of them, but then looks around at the rest of his camp, the goblins here, the other, humans, and possibly other things that he hasn't noticed yet. He thinks better of it, and he steals back into the night with the idea of heading straight for Karen Ward to let his companions know about this. This is information that they need to know now. So,
To your eye, if you crunch the numbers really quick, it's a handful of days hard march from here if you set out now.
okay, definitely set out and get a couple of hours between me and the camp of these cultists before I bed down for the evening.
Okay. Um, Now, back in uh, back at the proper time now, on the morning 4 days after Sheehan's supposed return, Gilfeck has been pacing impatiently this entire time. What has Gilfeck been saying and or doing in the past, well, say 72 hours?
Well, Sheehan being gone for so long, Gilfeck will definitely have been encouraging the others, saying that we need to go look for him. This doesn't like him. He's never been gone for this long before and such. And at the current time, he's still, like, as you said, pacing back and forth impatiently, thoughts racing through his mind. Did the cult get to him? Like, could he possibly have abandoned us? And he dismisses that, like, no, he would never abandon us. He wouldn't leave us. Like, we have a bond now. Gilfeck's mind, Sheehan is a good man and a good friend, and that he wouldn't have just left like that, and that makes him all the more worried that something terrible might have befallen him.
Skarnir, this entire time, if Gilfek has been thinking out loud or voicing his worry, Skarnir will say he will be fine. He's just slightly late. It'll be all right. As he goes back to tending his horse.
How would Blogveer have reacted to Gilfek's worry?
Well,
Blogveer would, I mean, he would be concerned, but at the same time, he would think that Gilfek is kind of being a mother goose and worrying too much. I mean, 4 days, yeah, it's a long time, but Sheehan can take care of himself. I mean, he killed a giant one shot. So, I mean, he's concerned, but at the same time, it's like, it'll all work out. And he's just, trying to take it easy and just help around the camp.
On the first day that he did not come back, your worry and that tingling in your beard is to the kind of a mild annoyance. On the second day, it's starting to become a real concern. On the third day, I would like for Gilfek to make a spirit test. We're going to see about having some shadow corruption here go on.
Alright, so I just roll and add my spirit modifier to that?
Yes, sir.
I got an 8 and a 7. So did I re-roll that 8?
Yeah, that does explode.
Alright, and I got a 24.
All right, so on the first day, you will only gain 1 point of shadow corruption, but on the morning of the 4th, you are up before dawn, and you're almost ready to just pack your things and go after him yourself. And as soon as you have your pack, you've grabbed a replacement spear, and you are marching towards the front gate to just leave your companions and go off and find him yourself. Sheehan walks through the gatehouse. After several days long march on his end, he is whipped, he is ragged, he is very weather beaten, and that cloak of his is pulled around himself tightly, but nevertheless, he's in one piece. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
Gilfek will rush towards him. Like, Sheehan, you finally come back. What happened to you? Did the colt get you when you were out harvesting or cleaning that giant head? What happened? You've been gone for days.
Sheehan looks at his obviously relieved friend, throws a cloak back to reveal that he is not injured in any way, shape, or form, and says, I've been about my business. I actually learned something very important. Do you by chance have any water nearby, or wine, or meat, or anything to wash this dust out of my mouth?
He'll reach into his pouch and pull out a water skin that he was preparing and getting ready to leave and hand it to you.
Okay. He'll tip it up and take a few good long pulls from it. Says, that's better. We have business to attend to, my friend. We have are you familiar by chance with a place called the Suncrest Valley?
Would I be aware of that? Would Gilfek have any knowledge of such a place?
Yeah, it's one of the major landmarks southwest of where you're from, but you've never been there personally. Which you are knowledgeable of where it is, roughly.
I got an idea of where it is. Never been there myself. What about it?
Well, apparently there's some big, one of the leaders of this cult is heading there to find a tomb of some ancient wizard named Ghost Owl. And I guess he's looking for a book of some type, some kind of a very important thing. But of course, I'm assuming he's going to be doing that pretty quickly because he has business by the time of the, the moon is, the moon is supposed to be somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. Maybe we should, this road is just, the weariness and such. I need to sit down for a few moments, get some food in me, and My mind, I'm sure, will work itself out with a bit of good good rest. Everybody speaking to the babushka. Is everyone else okay?
Aye.
Ooh, he points over at a horse nearby. Someone brought dinner.
No,
Excellent.
that's Skarnir's pet. Blog has already tried to eat it multiple times. Skarnir doesn't take kindly to it.
Why not?
It's his pet.
Pet.
He says he's going to tame it or something.
Okay.
He wants to ride it.
I've seen a few people writing those things, but I didn't know. Okay, if he thinks he can do something with that, that's just fine. Just if it doesn't work out, it's at least dinner. So and he brushes by the thing and sort of shakes his head a little bit and heads to probably the Babushka's place to sit down and let her know what he heard.
She is home. She is possibly cooking something for her breakfast, as it's just a few hours after dawn here.
Okay. Sheehan will respectively scratch or knock at the door and wait for her to summon him inward. And
You hear her rasp, "Come," after a few moments.
okay, he ducks his head inside and waits for his eyes to adjust to the darkness that I'm sure is the interior of her hut. And he says, "I have brought word, a blessing, and possible news about this cult's activity that I would like to pass by you, Babushka."
She looks up from her cauldron, which you now smell. It's probably some boar stew with quite a bit of other things in there. Your stomach gurgles at the smell of it, and she kind of furrows her brow at you. "Well, that is a lot of things. You've been gone for 26 days. I have been counting. What have you been doing these days then?"
Well, I fulfilled a promise to a Fey Lord, the Pike Lord. I promised to bring him trophies, which I did, and I delivered the shirt. Explained to him that the ladies of this village had woven it for him. He found it most agreeable, and says that his blessing will be upon you all as long as you respect the waterways around here and such. Which is the blessing I was bringing. The news I bring is that, of course, this cult is still operating mostly on the other side of the river, not so much here. The Pike Lord confirmed that for us on this side of the river, but it won't be long before they come across the river. I tracked some goblins to one of their villages, and I overheard a conversation. Apparently, this cult is gathering these tablets and rituals and such together with a intent of controlling the harvest, the harvest king. Believe it or not,
She
the
cocks
idea of
an
it.
eyebrow at you. How can you control a demon so powerful?
It apparently has something to do with the moon being in the correct location, and they're also looking for a tomb. Have you heard of a wizard named Ghost Owl?
I know of a magician that once went by the name of Ghost Owl. His name is actually Blaven. Blaven the Wise.
Blaven the Wise. Well, apparently the leader of this cult is going to be headed to the Suncrest Valley to find some ancient spell book, and he mentioned something about a piece of the Black Halo. I don't know what any of this means.
And she says, I know nothing of a black halo, but Blaven was an arch warden uh, thousands of cycles ago.
That would be why he'd be in it too, I would assume then.
Yes, um, he was he was the chieftain of the ghost owl circle that had an affinity for the birds of the night, as well as spells that used the position of the moon to perform their rituals and cast their spells.
Well, they did mention that the moon would be in the correct location soon for their rituals, so that makes sense. Also, there were I think 9 or 10 of them inside this tent discussing these things, and the ones I saw that came out were wearing. It was odd. They were wearing burial shrouds.
She turns a bit of a few shades of white at this. She goes, were they alive?
They appeared to be.
Because we do not weave burial shrouds for the living to wear.
That was what I was thinking. That didn't seem right.
If they are taking these they would have to be opening tombs and taking these shrouds and wearing them. The shrouds are supposed to protect one's body from evil spirits that would haunt your grave. That is the purpose of this garment.
Well, the leader did say something to the others about continuing to search up the tombs in this area for some reason. I didn't hear why, but they seem to. I think that is exactly what they're doing. Is they're raiding tombs.
That is a horrible thing. We need to protect our dead. And she looks at you. You must make sure if they are going after Blathen's spellbook, you need to recover that before they do.
And that is our next path. I know they were heading to a place called the Suncrest Valley, or the one was.
That is across the river. And she points to the north, the northwest of here. The northernmost portion of the Suncrest Valley is touching the river that borders the south or the southern portion of Arborea.
You did say that the Atlanteans are pushing that direction as well. They're expecting, I guess, them to have a clash with they expect them to have a clash with the Arboreans. I think that they'll more likely be slaughtered by the Arboreans, but it's neither here nor there.
She goes, I agree.
But apparently they're waiting for them to clash and to weaken both sides, and then something about being able to prey upon both.
Well, I don't know about that. That is possibly chest puffing and over ambitiousness. I would be very surprised if they were able to conquer Arborea. That is a prize that not many would be able to attain, no matter how many lifetimes you think you have.
I don't think so myself either. I mean, of us, the one who would know the most about the Arboreans would be Gilfrick. They British folk live next to them, basically. What do you think, Gilfrick? You think they would be able to deal with the Arboreans? You've seen these Atlanteans fight.
These Atlanteans have fierce magic and strange tactics. I fought against them for a brief time alongside Blogveer, but my service was much shorter than his. I've been on both ends of their swords, and they're the best warriors I've ever seen. And those mages, those magicians, they're a sight to behold. They conjure lightning itself from the heavens and toss it at their enemies. I don't know that there's any army in the world that could stand up to something like that, but I'm sure we'll be seeing soon enough.
I wonder how those wizards would fare against the priests of the Lady of Storms. They might have their lightning turned back upon them. Uh, Either way, we need to be moving, I suppose, to the Suncrest Valley. Uh, he looks over at Blogveer and he says, "Our friend, I know that you have a problem with water. Do you think you have the stone?"
Well, mm, mm,
Sheehan sort of smiles, eyes twinkling just a bit in the faint light. He says, "I have something that might actually make you a little more bold in that area." And he reaches into his pouch and pulls out a necklace. He says, "It would try putting this on your wrist." He holds it out to you.
all right, Blockville will grab it with his, 3 fingers and his thumb, and he'll try to just squeeze it on his wrist. I'm guessing it'll be kind of tight, but it'll probably fit.
It fits, but it's not like constricting or anything like that.
Okay. What is this supposed to do exactly?
It's the blessing of the Pike King. He says that when you're within his domain, nothing can harm you. So it means that he won't let you drown in the river.
Uh,
So, as a matter of fact, he reaches into his pouch and pulls out one for Gilfric and also for Skarnir as well. Of course, they're smaller. They're more of their proper size of a bracelet. And he shows that he has one as well. He says he's given us all his blessing at this time, so we should be able to cross the river and have nothing really to fear.
Gilfick will look at this and like wear it, like put it on his wrist and look at it. And look at Blogveer. Well, Blog, you saw the magic of the Atlanteans. Who's to say this Pike Lord doesn't have magic of his own? If he says we won't be harmed in his river, then I say we believe him.
There's not a boat out there that can withstand my weight. I can't get on a raft, I'll sink it.
There's a place where we can actually walk across the river not too far from here. A ford.
Just think, Blog. If he is the Lord of the rivers, and he tells the waters not to drown you and the fish not to eat you, what do you have to worry about?
Ogvira he's stroking his beard. He looks nervous. He's looking at the bracelet, these fish bones and shells and stuff. And he's like, I don't know how this is going to protect me. He's like, okay. Well, will we be able to kill Atlanteans maybe then?
Possibly.
Well,
not right away, but possibly.
He just looks at Gilfeck and like, I guess I could try. He just looks really nervous. He's just gripping this necklace, this little pouch over his neck. He's just gripping it really tightly, kind of rubbing it between his thumb and his index finger, and just sitting there and looking really nervous.
So, Sheehan will keep eyeing the soup boiling away in the pot. Knowing better than to ask for food, but trying to make it known that he is hungry.
The babushka, she serves a bowl up for all four of you. She gets out what would technically be a mixing bowl. For like baking a cake or something like that. And she fills that all the way up for Blockveer. Scaled up bowl for an ogre hand.
Thank you, Babushka. And he starts shoveling the food into his mouth.
Thank you, Babushka.
All right, thank you. And then Gilfick will eat as well.
The valiant Skarnir dismisses himself to go outside after giving his thanks. His newfound pet seems to take up quite a bit of his time. he's found a way to convert the animal into a pack animal. He's trained the thing in the interim to bear a load, not quite to bear him as a rider just yet. He has not discovered the secret of the bit and the bridle yet. But you guys now have a pack animal if you wish to set out in a handful of days, or possibly now.
I definitely just want to have one day of rest before he sets back out again. So, and to gather up new supplies and such for himself.
Of course.
But
the babushka, however, corners him as he's finishing up eating, and she says, "You've brought some time ago a slave or a sacrifice."
Yes, chieftain.
Yes. Is he for me, or is he for the Ring of Stones?
I think the intent was him being being as prominent as he was for the Ring of Stones, so that the Reaper King might be appeased somewhat.
I have harvested a handful of fingers from him, but he is all but intact, save for a hand.
I don't think the Reaper King particularly cares if he has both hands or not.
I see. Well, troll men fingers are quite hard to come by these days, as you know. She kind of gives you this wily old lady smile. She kind of walks off to deal with a handful of things elsewhere.
I look over at Blogfer and Gilfrick with a sort of almost a horrified expression, not necessarily, but the idea of what is she doing with trollman fingers? And she sort of shakes and shudders and looks back at the stew for a moment, shudders again, and takes his leave.
Hey, I think I found a finger in my stew.
She points her mixing spoon at you. You will not find troll fingers in my food.
Oh, I was mistaken. Sorry, babushka.
If you would like to know where I had put one of the fingers, I can show you.
That is okay, Babushka. You can keep your secrets if you wish. They don't need to know.
Oh no, Shirley, I insist. She goes over to a shelf and she gets kind of like this clay like jar that as soon as she picks this thing up, like and kind of takes like this wax seal kind of cork bit off of the top of the jar, the whole tent fills with this horrible putrid awfulness. And she brings it over to Sheehan, and she goes, "See here, a finger." And you see this troll finger floating in this yellow, goopy, viscous, whatever the hell is in there. And the finger is actually pointing in a direction that it's pointing to the north and to the west.
Through the watering eyes, as this smells assaulting his senses, Sheehan looks down and says, "Oh, okay. What's it pointing to?"
It's ingredients for my ritual. I would have hoped to have a fey finger, and she kind of pokes at Sheehan a little bit, so smiling, poking fun at him. But alas, you are not here, and I did not want to trouble you. And you clearly need all of your fingers for that mighty bowstring, I suppose.
Yes, unlike Blogfear, I cannot function with less fingers than I currently have.
Is all well. You're no fun.
Gilbeck will be having his beard covering his mouth to help try to filter the stench out a little bit, and then he'll ask through a muffled voice like, "Babushka, you said something about your ritual. Could we offer you any assistance before we leave with preparing your ritual? It's the least we could do for you after putting us up for so long."
Of course, my love. She she takes this jar, she walks over to you, and she puts it in your hand. Just follow this finger. It will point you in the direction that you need to go.
He just nods to her, keeping his beard firmly over his mouth and nose.
Guys, it smells awful, and your beard is probably gonna take on that smell and keep it.
Blogveer has his whole face in his bowl of stew, and he's just like, trying to just smell the stew at the same time. I don't know. It's bad.
Sheehan sort of smiles at this, her putting the, selecting her guide, I guess you could say. He stretches and said, "Well, I guess you do have a quest. I want to take a nap. I've been running for so long. I'm so exhausted."
Gilfek he'll leave the vicinity and try to air this thing out, like keeping it away from him. Like he'll try to get out into like an open area where maybe it'll air out a little better and maybe won't be so strong. And he's thinking to himself, like, how are we going to carry this thing? Like, however many miles we're going to have to carry it without us like killing over from the stench. He's just running these scenarios through his head right now.
Blogbeer will pull his face out of the bowl, stew all over, dripping down his beard, all over his face, chunks of meat and stuff in there. And he'll just look at Sheehan. He's like, "You bastard. Why do I gotta get stuck with the finger? All you had to do was walk. Oh, the gods hate me."
Sheehan does exaggerate yawn and says, "I'm just so exhausted from my travels."
Gilfek will look back at you. He's like, "Well, Sheehan, if we do go out there, you better be here when we get back. I'm not gonna force you to come with us. You did look worse for wear, but you better be here when we get back and not go off on another adventure, or else we'll leave without you."
Sheehan starts to go toward the little cottages we have as for our personal use, and stops for a moment and says, "No, I think I need to watch over you two. I'm afraid that if you leave this place without me, you may get stepped on or trip over each other and break your legs. So yeah, I'll be back. Let me get rid of a few things, and we'll be on our way."
Blogbeer is gonna go look for like a pitcher of meat or something and pour it all over his beard and just put it over his face.
Well, there is that resin and tomato mead that they've got.
He'll take it. He don't care what it is. It's alcohol. Just soak his beard in it, throw it over his face.
Gilfek, seeing this, will actually start rinsing his beard out with some kind of liquid, possibly the alcohol, if it's the only thing they have that has a strong smell to it. To try to get the stench of the finger out of his beard. Just put any other smell in there that's not the finger. So
the finger, however, it does not air out. It just kind of permeates this stench around it.
Great goddess, I'm glad you're carrying that, Gil. Ugh. I've been around rotting corpses, and this is the worst thing I've ever smelled. Oh, gods, take me now.
Gilfek he grabs like some cloth and ties it over the top of the clay pot and just tries to like contain the smell when they're not needing to look at it or see where it's pointing. He's going to try to contain it in some way.
Oh, well, she did give you that wax and cork stopper there.
Oh, yeah, he'll put that in immediately as soon as they get the chance.
But yeah. Can you see the finger without having the the stopper off? Is it clear enough to see the finger
Nope.
where it's pointing? You have to pull the
Nope.
fucking stopper
You
off
have
to look.
to open it, take the top off there.
Yeah, but right now we're just
blasted.
preparing. So Gilfeck's like, we don't need to look at the finger right now. Let's just keep the stopper in.
But as soon as you guys gather yourselves and your supplies for a day's trek, you get to the front gate, and you check the finger again, and it's actually turned almost like a compass needle, if you will, to the woods beyond the circle of standing stones. So picture in your mind, on the top of this big hill is the village. At the bottom of the hill, and about 800 yards east, directly east, is this circle of stones. And about like a mile and a half beyond that is a forest. The finger is pointing in the direction of that forest.
Looks like we're going to be trekking in the woods.
Finally.
Do we even know what we're looking for? We're just following a finger.
We're looking what the finger is pointing at as Sheehan picks up a bit of mint from near one of the gardens as he's heading toward the gate, and crumbles it in his fingers and wipes it across his upper lip.
Logger's just gonna grab a handful of the mint and shove it all in his beard and his mouth, and he's putting it all over the place. Even shove it up his nose, just whole mint, just shove it up in there.
Oh, don't do that. Sheehan will sit there and watch and laugh as the burning sensation begins to permeate the nose. Actually does burn pretty badly when he does that.
I mean, he does it, and then a little while later, it's just, he's like pulling it out, rubbing his nose. Oh, God, help me.
So you make your way past this circle of stones, and again, the three of you feel this kind of this quiet reverence of the place. Who actually has the highest cunning modifier?
Cunning?
Yeah,
I have a
cunning.
three modifier of 3.
Yep, I only have one.
I only have one.
Okay, so Sheehan, I need an awareness test, please.
Okay. That is going to be a whole 11.
A whole 11. Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay. So you noticed that one of the stones, and you had not noticed this before on your previous visit, one of the stones has a hole drilled through the top part of it, which kind of makes this low hum tone when the wind blows across it.
Interesting. I hum in tune with it, just to see how it resonates.
It seems once you hum in tune with it, the other stones hum as well.
Interesting.
And you notice that now all of them, they all have holes that you have not noticed previously. And they're not new, as the stone is well worn and has moss on it. And Gilfeck, being a bearded folk, he understands masonry enough to know that these are not new architecture.
Have they been cleaning those since I've been gone?
Don't think many people come around these stones too often.
Interesting. Anyway, is the finger pointing for those stones?
It is not. It is pointing beyond and into the woods.
A little more mint on the upper lip. Onward we go. Follow the finger.
Now, into the woods you walk. Now, You walk for a few more hours and you find a grove of flowers. You check this finger again, and one of these poor white flowers actually wilts in presence of this horrible finger.
Oh, poor thing.
Poor thing. Now, the finger is pointing in a direction. Now it's kind of like southeasterly of you. Now, it's you know that there's a river in that direction, that a small rill that connects into the Great Gray River. You follow the finger still.
Oh, yes.
You find this small stream. The chorus of frogs meets your eye, or actually, excuse me, meets your ear. You hear a quiet reverence of this place as well. Now, Sheehan will actually sense the presence of the Fae here. You will not see anything, but you'll sense that you guys are indeed being watched.
We're being watched, gentlemen, but don't be alarmed. It's Faye.
That sounds like cause to be alarmed.
Well, I would be alarmed if I were them myself. If there was a large ogre, a bearded folk, and another fellow walking into their place with something that smells that bad.
They probably smelled us from a mile away.
Probably wonder if we're coming to poison them or not.
They're probably going to shoot us on the site.
You, maybe. So Sheehan blends into the background a bit. Actually, a little more than a bit. So with a 20, he's going to sort of scout around away from the group, just see if there's anything out there to be worried about.
Make an awareness test for me.
Mm-hmm. Awareness. 22.
You actually do not see anything out there. Nothing apparent, anyway.
That's okay.
Gilfek thinks to himself, all right, they know we're here already. They smell us coming, and they're probably watching us right now. So we might as well try something to let them know that we're not a threat. So he's going to try to start singing one of the songs he's heard Sheehan sing before, and hope that it is recognized by them as some type of cultural understanding of, we don't come and harm, we're being jovial and stuff. But having no understanding of fake culture, he could completely botch this up. But so he's
Nice.
just gonna like this is just like what he's gonna
test for me.
Yep. What's that under?
That is under
Spirit. All right. I actually have one Rankin song. Now.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I bought a Rankin song thanks to Sheehan. Gilfek has actually taken to liking his singing. I got a 16 total.
Nice.
Wow. Well done. Now, well, let's see.
He's just going to be copying one of the songs Sheehan has sung in the past. Perhaps the first one he heard them sing when they were at the fort.
Okay. Keith, what was that song again?
That was a song about a great bard of yore who is now buried in a grove. So,
yeah, and Gilfek will have no idea the significance of these songs or anything like that, or cultural impact of them. He just assumes that Faye like music because Sheehan's been singing so much. So he's hoping that maybe it'll ease the tension.
It's like an otaku that likes anime a lot, but has no idea or anything about the Japanese language, kind of humming along with the lyrics of his favorite anime. Not having any idea what's going on.
Basically.
Beautiful. I like it. But actually, you know what? That presence of being watched actually goes away.
Gilfek just keeps singing, and he's like, "Oh, holy crap, it worked!" And he just keeps singing on.
The finger points down into this gully that the rill kind of like has eroded out. And Sheehan's actually in an advantageous spot where he can actually look down in there. Um, I'm assuming that you guys, you open up the jar, you see the finger, you look where it's pointing, and you go, all right, it's pointing over there, and you quick like close it back up
Yep.
and move in that direction.
Yes, that is what we've been doing this whole journey.
Okay. So Sheehan will actually see a vein of silver actually in the rock.
Ooh.
The rill has eroded away the stone around it, and you actually see a small vein of silver kind of glitter in the kind of like the morning light. There's about 10:45 in the morning.
I'll wander over and look at it. Is the finger pointing here? I'll say. Point toward the.
Oh.
I pop the Gilfek and they pop the finger open again and quickly take a glance to see where it's pointing.
It is indeed.
Shuts it quickly. It's pointing over there.
Bring it over here in this little area here and see if it's pointing at this. He traces the vein. Traces this as if it's pointing at that vein. And Sheehan quickly steps back away from the area where he's about to open.
All right, so Gilfek will go over to the vein, take a deep breath, and hold his breath and pop it open, and try to quickly as he can determine where it's pointing while holding his breath.
Okay. You actually got to get down into that small ravine, so it's about an 8-foot drop. So if Sheehan's gonna climb down there, he's gonna be kind of like down in the muddy bit. Well, you're able to get down in there with him, but it's only going to be enough room for both of you. So as you do, you open up this jar, and the finger is indeed pointing at that small vein of silver. It is stock still, pointing at the thing.
Gilfek quickly close it again. He's like, "Well, we found it. Now what?"
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we need to gather some.
Did anyone bring a mining pick?
Gilfek just kind of looks around at everybody. He's like, "I didn't."
But,
Bro, just get down here and like rip a chunk of the rock out the wall or something.
Yeah, just break a piece off. I mean, it can't be that difficult, right?
Well, there's not enough room for all of us down there.
Gilfek will start climbing out, and he's like, we'll clear out. You take all the time you need, and you get down there and you tear it out.
Sheehan will pull up out too. So
to picture this for you guys, Blogveer's going to have to lay down on his stomach and reach around into this little ravine, this crack in the earth, and because his person is not going to fit down there. If he gets down in there, he's not getting out unless you guys are going to spend a couple chains with shovels to dig him out. He's going to get stuck.
Well, Blog, you think you can reach it?
Can I reach it?
You absolutely can. You can get your.
I think I'm gonna have to just start hammer fisting the fucking vein, and hopefully I can get enough leverage to actually knock a chunk off, I guess.
Or maybe use your fingers to kind of like get in around the stone. Maybe it's up to you, man. However.
Well, I'll try to hit it a couple times, and then I'll try to. If that doesn't break a chunk off, I'll just try to dig in there with my 3 little fingers and rip it out.
Okay, all right. Yeah, man, go for it.
So that's just a straight physique roll?
Yes, actually.
That is a 13.
You can actually work a bit of the stone away, but you haven't actually worked any of the silver free of the stone that it's kind of
This is gonna take some time.
Okay. Sheehan thinks for a moment and says, "Do you need like a knife or something, or what would you need to get it out of there? I'm not familiar with mining at all."
I just look. Blackbeard just looks at Gilfek and I don't know. What do you think, Gil?
I'm not a miner. I'm a hunter.
I thought all bearded folk were miners in some way.
But, you just keep at it. I'll get a camp set up. They might be here for a day or so. And then Gilfek will go about like getting a campfire ready and just getting just like a small makeshift camp set up.
Okay.
I guess Blackbeard just keeps at it. You want me to keep rolling, or you want me to just?
Well, actually, yeah. Go ahead and make another roll for. Here. What's that?
Critical failure.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you break a finger.
Yeah. So,
you get you're caught down in there. It's like, ah!
Yeah, you just hear, hammering away, and you hear crunching, and the next thing you know, you hear, ah! And you see him reel up, and one of his fingers is just completely, like, over 9 degrees, just bent back. Bones trying to push out through the skin. And, oh, God damn! Look what you did, Gil.
Gil will rush over here and Blackbeard screams like, "It wasn't me, you big oaf. You were the one hitting it in the wrong way."
Why didn't you bring a mining pick? I thought bearded folk always have mining picks.
Gilfek flick the finger, and he's like,
Ah!
He's like, "You are the mining pick. Your fists are as big as a hammer."
It just kind of shooting the bird, but it's broken, so it's just, I guess,
You shoot him a lame
I guess
duck.
I could, I guess I could try to make an apothecary roll, maybe, to set it, if it'll set right, or I'm going to have a gangly, deformed finger that's going to just fall off.
Okay, yeah. Make an apothecary test, yeah.
Oh, shit.
How many grades of apothecary does...
I have 3. I have 3 grades.
Oh,
Nice.
that's actually really good.
That is a 13.
Well, that's actually enough for you to reset a finger.
All right, so you see him he grabs it, and he just takes a deep breath, and oh, yeah.
Put it back to the right spot.
God damn you all.
Gil will just be like trying to get a fire started. He's like, "Just use the other hand.
And what if I break those fingers too?
Just be more careful this time."
I'm going to use you as the hammer.
So how does a mining pick work? Sheehan asks. I've never seen one.
It's almost like a hammer, but with like a pointed end, and you bang it against the stone. It's made of metal. You beat it against stone until whatever you want comes loose. I'm not a miner. I just know I've seen them, but I've never used one.
So basically, all you need is something pointy that'll made of metal that'll break a piece off, I guess.
That should work.
Blackbeard is going to use his other hand and start beating the silver vein very angrily. Like, he's very angry. He got a 23 on physique.
Beautiful.
And just beats the living shit out of this thing.
Well, you do put a crater in that kind of like that ravine wall there, and a bunch of the silver ore in chunks, mind you, really small, like chunks that would fit in Sheehan's palm, maybe fall out. So there's maybe 30 pounds of it, silver ore.
I just start picking it up and chunking it at him, trying to hit him in the head with it. Here's your damned ore,
Are you
damn
doing
finger.
you or Sheehan?
Both of them. I'm just throwing it out there, just shards of silver. Damn finger, damn you all.
Sheehan covers his head and says, "I was about to bring you something that would help with that."
Calm down, Blog. We're gonna lose it, and then you have to go back down for more.
You just mumbled.
Gilfek will start trying to collect the shards of silver that scatter the forest floor now. Some might be like over in a bush or something, and he has to go like dig through a bush to get it out and just like collect all the shards of silver that's been spewing across the place.
Bush.
No, he like sticks his hand in there, not realizing it, and gets like pricked by. It's like, oh, Like, for-
But you check that finger again, and then, of course, it's fucking pointed somewhere else in the forest.
we have more work to do. So much
Is
for
there-
camp.
Is there like any vines or anything that can like try to wrap my broken finger around the other one, like a splint, sorta?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, there's
I'll
plenty.
just do that and just. Walker's in a bad mood now. He's like grumbling like an angry old man.
Wait, he's not an angry old man?
Nope.
He's angry, but he's not old. I mean, he has some
I'm sure
gray in his beard and stuff. I mean, he's old to some people.
Well, once the fire gets going and we get a little something to eat there, Sheehan's going to sit down and actually start singing a song, hopefully to calm Bugger's rage at the and frustration, of course. And then once he's done with it, he actually did pretty decently. He did a 14.
Beautiful.
He once he's done with the song, he pulls out one of his new arrows and says, "I was going to loan you this. It's a black shaft with a shiny metal tip that is definitely not bronze."
Gilfak will look at it. He's like, I'm not an expert, but I think an arrowhead would probably chip or break or something.
Oh, these won't break here.
Oh, what? What?
These don't break.
Everything breaks.
Let me hold
Oh.
one.
Okay, he hands it to you.
I try to snap it.
Okay, how do you try and snap it?
Well, I grab it by the shaft and just try to snap it in half.
It'll bend, but it does not break.
Veins popping out.
Yeah, that thing does not bust.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
The pickle jar.
He just hands it back to you. He's like, "Oh, I think I might have shit myself a bit there. Excuse me." And just waddles off behind a tree.
For Gilfek, with that roll, sometime that evening before you guys sit down, you've dismissed yourself and you've gone hunting. You bring back a doe for the evening's meal, so you guys have a bit of venison.
Okay.
Wait, no.
Also,
that arrow does not break.
is Blogbeer and Gilfek back at full health?
Yes, you guys will be.
Do I lose any health for breaking my finger, or what ill effects do I get from that?
You will get a -1 for the time being until that heals. Give it a few weeks. And
Alrighty.
with that, we'll take a 10-minute break, everybody.
Alrighty.
All right, guys, we'll be right back.
Back shortly.
I wonder what we got to do next.
Probably find something muddy. For now.
Oh man.
Break your other finger.
Yeah, basically. I got
You know-
5 good ones.
We get back into a bush, you just lop it off. It won't hurt anymore.
No, she needs a fey finger.
True, but I'm not giving one of mine.
You know, you gotta sleep sometime, Red Blade.
True. You have to sleep sometime.
Yeah, I'm sure Blogvir can just sneak over there without you waking up and just cut your finger off. I'm sure that's the thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So about how much of a single deer do you think Blogbeard would eat?
You probably eat the whole thing, or damn near all of it. But I mean, he'll probably just eat a leg.
Yeah, Sheehan just eat a little bit. So maybe a bit of the liver roasted and a bit of a flank, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure a doe would be more than enough for Gilfek and Sheehan, but Blogveer though, that's just a little bit worried for him.
Well, we may not have any leftovers, but
Gilfek has to eat the heart though because he killed it.
true.
Yeah, eat it raw. Just grab it out of there and eat it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody back?
Yep.
All right, so now you guys bed down for the evening. And is anyone actually going to stay up and watch over the group?
Well, considering I've been traveling quite a bit and basically just got back to the village and then left again, I'm probably out pretty quick.
Yeah, Gilfek would be doing it. He thinks his companion's been through enough. Blogveer broke a finger. Sheehan's been traveling for so long, so Gilfek would be staying up and keeping watch.
Alrighty. The first 3 hours of your watch. Oh man! All right, fine. Come on now. They pass uneventfully.
All right, after these 3 hours pass, Gilfek will let out a yawn and a stretch and go over to Blogveer. Get up, it's your turn.
What? Blogvir will just get himself up slowly, leaning on his massive club, this tree trunk he has with the bronze tip on it, and he'll just stretch, toss it over his shoulder, and lean up against a tree.
If you hear any fae out there, just start singing. It soothes them. And then
Okay.
Gilfek will lay down and go to sleep.
And for Blogveer's watch.
The dragon sweeps in and kills everybody.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, don't tempt me, brother. Don't tempt me. No, nothing. Your watch passes uneventfully.
All right, well, I go back over to Gilfek and I kick him. Hey, wake up.
Well, it's time to get up already.
No, it's your watch again. I'm not waking up Red Blade.
Fine. Gilfek gets up tired and groggy. He's like, kind of looks over to Sheehan, contemplates waking him up, but then like, no, he's been through a lot. He's had to travel a bunch. He needs the rest. So Gilfek will begrudgingly just take another watch. Blogveer's, who's voting him for it, putting up for it.
Yeah, Blogveer's already on the ground, leaning up against a tree, snoring.
So Gilfek will take another watch begrudgingly. He figures that it'd be better him be worn out than Sheehan after all Sheehan's had to go through.
And the next watch takes us to dawn with nothing. Not a fucking soul comes to accost you guys.
Except for the salamander. Roll for initiative.
Right? No.
Sheehan wakes up, stretches. Wait a minute, you guys don't wake me up for a watch.
Yeah. We thought we'd let you rest. You've been traveling so much. Figured you could use it. Gilfek yawns. Oh.
Okay, good. You guys are finally figuring it out. He gets up and gets a bit of the haunch that's left over the fire, just little scraps. Eats a bit and looks around and says, "Well," pops open reaches over to the jar, picks it up, pops the top
Oh.
off, and looks to where the the finger's pointing. Says, "That way."
Yep, if Log wasn't up yet, he's up now.
That's your finger now, Red Blade. You're holding it this time.
No, that's yours.
No, not
We did
happening.
both take the watch last night, so I guess you can make up for it today with holding the finger.
True. Blockveer's down one finger. I figured you could use a spare.
No, it's better already. Better already. I don't even need this splint. Look at that. Oh, yes, good as new.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll carry it for a bit. That's fine. But we need to go that way.
When no one's looking, Blogveer picks that back up and wraps his finger back up really quickly.
So. So I guess we'll buzz up camp, put the fire out, get
Sorry.
everything ready to go, and head off the direction the finger points us.
Yeah, before we head off, Blogveer will go to the little gully that had the silver vein and just pissed all over it.
You'll
Blaming.
inevitably
Empty his bladder.
make the river rise there. There you go. But
Blockveer's claim.
you guys find a deer path that Blogveer is subsequently making wider with his broadness. You're kind of crashing through the underbrush there. You follow that for a few miles, and you find what seems to be kind of a ruined structure of multiple structures of stone here. What may or may not have been an outpost of some kind. Moss clings to the stone walls, and there's another circle of stones that, not unlike the circle of stones that Sheehan remembers from the swamp village. The buildings here are in a similar style of structure and architecture here, but you wander into this area, and there's kind of this eerie forebodingness here.
I don't like it here.
Sheehan will pass the jar over to Gilfrick and say, "I need both hands for my bow." And then he draws an arrow. Just in
Which
case.
arrow are you using?
With the bronze arrows at the moment. The regular ones.
Okay, all right.
Gilfik will just double check the finger and see where exactly it's pointing this time.
It is pointing deeper into this this village outpost thing that you've discovered.
And we don't see any sign of inhabitants or anything like that here.
Oh no, total ghost town.
Oh, here we go. So he readies his spear in one hand and the jar in the other and starts marching forward.
So, marching order for this is Sheehan is taking up a position towards the back, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And Gilfek is leading, so Blogfear is in the middle.
Yep,
All
gripping
right.
his big old club tightly, looking nervous.
Your two-handed bronze cudgel.
Yep.
Okay, so deeper into this this village here, I need awareness tests, please.
Ten.
16.
Oh. And blog, what do we got? He's He's got nothing. His eyes were closed.
Nah, it's 20.
Ooh. Okay. So, Blogveer is the only one who catches this. You catch a figure out of the corner of your eye, like this shadowy mass, and you look over. You quick like it startles you. Oh god! And you look to your left. There's nothing there.
Demons! Ghost!
Sick.
All right, Gilfig, like, what are you talking about? He like looks back towards Bloodview.
You didn't see it.
I ain't seen nothing.
I'm telling you. There's something here. The demon. Black demon. Don't kill us, demons. We come in peace.
And Blogbear will just start singing. So that will be a 14 on song.
No, demons. Leave us alone. We are already cursed.
And he starts singing, and he just rotates between all the languages he knows. Ogrish, Feywise, Namercian, and Atlantean. He just sings and
Leave us alone, demons.
he's just gripping. You can hear the creaking of him gripping its cudgel tight. Just eyes darting around everywhere.
Sheehan will start humming along, almost like as if just he'll catch himself humming and stop, and shake his head a little bit. Then he'll switch arrows to one of the new arrows of his. So if there's demons here, maybe they'll be more effective than bronze.
Okay. You guys find yourselves in kind of like the center of this village here. It's kind of this triangular shaped main thoroughfare area, and just beyond that is a temple. It's kind of a rundown shack, or more closely in size to like a barn, but it is a temple proper. And who here has grades in academics, or if you want to make a lore test?
I have academics.
I also have academics.
I don't.
And I have a forte in it, too.
Oh, there you go.
I have 2 academics and a 1 cunning modifier.
I got 3 academics, a 1 cunning modifier, and a forte. How much does a forte count for? 1?
Yeah, it's just +1 bonus.
Okay.
The most advantageous test for you guys is Sheehan could make a lore test, and the rest of you could make academics rolls.
I got a 17 on academics.
Okay.
You got a 9 on lore.
I got a 23 on academics.
Gee.
Oh, damn. Nice.
Yep, I rolled an 8.
That be some book reading right there.
He learned really good and everything.
Gilfek recognizes the holy symbol over the door to this temple is a great spirit, not necessarily a goddess, but a spirit that is worshipped. The entity is a female spirit named Ilua, and she is the spirit of waterfalls.
He notices this and understands that they have domain over something to do with water, and he's going to choose to withhold that information from Blogveer. And he'll Blogveer, keep an eye out.
Oh, Blogbear is darting around. His eyes are everywhere.
And
You
then
see
Gilfek will
sweat
like blink
going
back
down his
behind
face.
Blogveer to Sheehan to whisper to him. He's like, "This place is some kind of temple to a spirit of waterfalls. Make sense to you?"
Sure. Humans
Now-
worship all kinds of weird things.
Can Blogbear roll an awareness check to see what they're whispering about?
You can. You absolutely can.
No. That's a 4.
Yep. No. You got nothing, brother.
All I can hear is his heavy breathing as he's just looking around for this demon to come out of nowhere.
Probably can't hear us over his singing.
Yep, demon, no, leave us alone. Don't eat our liver, demon.
So, means nothing to you then. You don't know of any demons or waterfalls or anything like that?
Mm. Humans worship all kinds of weird things. I once came across a tribe of humans that worship duck. Just one duck, not all ducks, just one specific duck.
Well, as far as my studies recall, the spirit's a real spirit. But, well, let's just hope for the best. I hope that there's no waterfalls.
Well, let's not tally too long in this place. I'm sure the whatever spirit was worshipped here may still be hanging around. Could be what we've been seeing.
And then Gilfek will go up and open, after he go back to where he saw that symbol, and then he'll open the jar again. And see where the finger points.
Logveer won't see Gilfek open it, and he'll be like, oh God, they're already attacking! Just swing randomly at nothing.
They're trying to overpower us with their demon stench.
It's just a finger.
Oh, by the gods, Gil, you're gonna warn somebody when you open that damn thing.
Mint.
Now, no, the finger is actually pointing within the temple.
All right, he'll close it back up and trek cautiously inside the temple if there is an opening.
So once Gil goes inside, Blogveer won't actually be able to fit in there because the door isn't big enough to accommodate him.
Gilfus will walk a couple of steps in, and then it'll cross his mind, Blog can't fit in here. He might try to break a hole in. He'll turn around quickly before Blog can do this, and it's like, Blogveer, don't break anything. This is a temple. We don't want to anger the spirits.
Oh, gods, I knew it. Demon worship. I can't kill that which can't be killed.
I know Gilfek will know Blogveer is freaking out about demons, but he thinks he's probably going to be more calm about demons than if he told him the spirit has something to do with water. So he's still going to keep it to himself that, this is a temple to a water spirit of some kind.
Red Blade, you can't leave me out here. Use your magic arrows against the demons.
Well, don't worry. I think you'll be fine. You're on holy ground now. Demons can't come here.
He just looks at the ground.
What if it's a temple to demons?
Well, it's not. He walks inside, gets just inside the door, and says, "It's the waterfalls."
Gilfek,
Waterfalls? Gods, no! 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 Blogveer starts backing up. Like, no. I'm not getting taken down to a watery grave by you devil water demons. Spittle flying.
Here. He walks inside just with this gleam of mirth in his eyes at having done that.
Blogveer drops his cudgel with a thud, both hands gripped on his pouch of dirt. One of his other hand gripping the bracelet. He's just like, no demons. I'm not going down in the depths.
Gilfek will poke his head out. He's like, just don't disturb nothing, Blog. If you don't break nothing, they won't come for you.
Blogveer is just eyes wide, freaking out.
Remember,
shaking back and forth, rocking back and forth.
Remember, the water can't harm you.
It's true.
He's just looking everywhere, eyes wide.
When Blogveer is kind of freaking out there, I need him to make a reaction test, please.
I told you. Demons coming to get him.
Dragon.
That is a 12.
Oh, sorry. So Blog's got a 12. All right. All right, brother. Whatever this thing is, it comes out from behind a building that is apparently has been stalking you for some time. What you see is this enormous scaled behemoth with multiple heads not unlike a kind of like a big monitor lizard that you'd see in kind of like a desert region, but this thing has webbed feet. Clearly, it's amphibious and built for eating fish and hunting this forest. Its claws kind of like terminate into like this raptor claw kind of meat fish hook kind of thing, and it has four elongated reptilian heads as two of these toothed maws open wide to attempt to have at you. Now, Sheehan will actually see this out of the corner of his eye as this big Hydra monitor lizard tries to go and have a go at him. Now, he can make a reaction test, but Gilfek is still inside in the dark. He can't make one yet, unless you tell him.
I'm sure they all hear me block me. Oh God! God help me!
All right, everyone make reaction tests then.
Okay. So yeah, okay. I got a 13 on that one. And of course Sheehan's screaming of oh my god or oh my gods, oh my gods. There's one with four heads. Oh my gods, no one ever thought one with four heads.
How do reaction tests work again?
It is 2d8 plus your reaction modifier. If you have grades in reflexes, that also modifies it.
Oh. That's right. Okay, 16. That's right.
Okay.
I got a 12.
Okay. So
no. Technically, I got a 13. I didn't add a 1 to it.
So you got 16, 12, and 13, and the Hydra, who got to jump on you guys apparently, is going to go on a big fat 20.
Ooh.
So it's going to make its first attack with its snapping maw at Blogford. Did you say you actually dropped your?
Yeah, it's at his feet. He was gripping. Shit. He was gripping his trinkets. He was not. Oh shit.
It's gonna come for that ass. Let me tell you, brother. Ooh,
oh shit!
Oh shit! Oh my god!
This is it, fellers.
All right, so it's going to come at you for a 25 on its first attack.
Nah, yep.
Oh, it has at him. Oh shit!
I rolled a 12 for defense. So.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, so it's going to bite down onto one of your arms with a big ol' 9 points of vitality damage there.
Blogger did blood-curdling scream.
And for its second attack, it's son of a bitch! It's gonna have at you for a big old fat 12.
Do I roll defense again?
Oh yeah.
5.
Oh my god, dude!
First a giant, and I'm gonna get killed by a goddamn fucking river monster.
Okay. Oh, okay, it does max damage with oh my god, another 14. Oh shit.
Alright, I'm -2 health.
Oh my god. Shit. Okay, alright, so there we go. As this thing, the first head comes down and bites down on the arm that has the bad finger on it, evidently, and then it comes, the other head comes around and bites you on the thigh, and it tries to pull you apart and like shake you like a rag doll, but each of these heads is not working in conjunction with each other, so it tries to do this rag doll and just makes it look like it shakes you a bunch and then drops you on the ground. The big So Sheehan is up next, man.
So try to put an arrow in this thing.
All right, go for it. I know you're using the fair arrows.
Okay, that's going to be
Yes, I'm gonna need an at death's
4,
door test.
30.
30. Oh my god.
30
Okay.
on my attack.
Yeah, so it actually can't stop that at
Okay.
all. So yeah, go for it.
That's going to be, of course, this is with the Fey Iron arrow that I had.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be, that's what, a +3, isn't it, total? For Fey Iron, or is it +2?
Let me check here. So Fey Iron is actually, yes, it's +2 attack, +2 damage, and
All right, in that case, 32. Okay, and that's going to be a 7 points of damage to it.
ooh, okay, so yeah, you have at that thing hard and heavy. All right, so and Gilfek, what does Gilfek see as he turns around just in time to see a Blogfear drop like a rag?
Well, after this arrow goes into the thing, does the thing seem deterred at all, or is it just still ravenous?
Oh yeah, it takes this hit and it lets off a kind of a reptilian roar and kind of like a howl in pain. Clearly, the thing is harmed in some way, and it backs away from Blogveer as two of its heads kind of turn over towards the direction that it was being shot in.
Gilfek is going to run over there. You jump on Blogveer and then jump off of him at the creature. And let's see how this goes for him. He didn't roll a critical fail this time, so that's
Okay, good.
that's a bonus. Don't want to break his leg again.
Break the other leg.
13 as he lunges at the thing. And he'll leave the
13.
yes. And he'll leave the little jar with the finger in it near the entrance to the temple.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that actually does make a land a hit. Go for it.
All right. Got 9 damage.
All right, brutal.
So he'll jump at it and like stab it in its shoulder or something like that. Like as it turns to face Sheehan, he'll jump onto Blogveer and use Blogveer as like a booster step, basically to jump off of Blogveer onto its shoulder and drive his spear home deep into his shoulder.
Okay, it is for its turn. It's going to attempt to reach over and bite you to get it off of its shoulder, and it only comes at you with a whopping 12.
All right, and I got a 13.
Oh shit! Okay, so tie goes to the defender. All right, so it actually misses its first attack there, and son of a goddamn bitch, stop exploding 8s, damn it. Oh lord, this might hurt, Alan.
Yep. What did my defense roll this time? It's not good. It was only a 10.
He come at you with the 26.
Yep, I got a 10.
Oh shit. But he only like nips at you for 7 points of damage.
Almost half my health. I wouldn't call it a nip, but
all right, so back to the top of the round. Blogbear has 2 rounds remaining here. Yeah, Skarnir did not come with you guys.
I know that bastard.
He's been dodging the fights.
Is that damn horse, dude? He's obsessed with it.
I know,
pretty
man.
horse.
Jesus.
My
All right,
precious.
Sheehan is the next to act.
You're muted.
Yeah, Keith, you're muted here.
Okay, I'm gonna put the damn horse to the thing. He is going to fire another arrow at this thing and start moving towards the other side away from where Gilfrick is assaulting it. He was
Okay.
having to split its attention basically, and he is going to get a big old 12.
Oh, big old 12. Okay,
Sorry,
yeah, it has
hold
the
on,
static.
14.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
14
A what?
plus 2 because of the arrows. 14.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a static defense of 11, so yeah, you land a hit.
Yeah. All right. That's going to be 7, 8, 10 points.
Ooh, okay. So, describe for us how you and which arrow actually. So,
It's one of the Fey arrows, so yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he steps out and moves the opposite side of this beast as it has its attention over on his bird folk companion, and he notices that as it does so, it's exposing one of its sides as it turns around. And as a hunter, he knows sort of where the vitals are on beasts in general. So he lines up his shot and fires and hits just behind the foreleg, not at the shoulder, but beneath it, driving the point of the fire iron through the thing's hide into its heart. Of course, they're also going through a lung. Two of the heads gurgle a bit as it staggers just a bit and then falls over, taking a bit of time to die because being a reptilian thing, its body just continues to writhe for a bit. So
He is actually not dead yet, unfortunately. But
darn it! I wish.
he's getting he's pretty worse for wear.
Okay.
Now,
Playing dead.
Gilfek is the next to act here.
All right. So does this thing look like it's on the verge of death, or does it look like it got a lot of fight left in it? Like, how's it looking?
No, he's looking real bad. Bleeding from multiple wounds and whatever those new arrows that Sheehan has, it really takes the wind out of its sails.
So does this thing look like it's scared of us and is going to leave yet, or is it going to like fight to the death? Like, what's its stance like right now?
You actually make a wild lore test, please.
All right, one moment.
In most cases, I would say you probably don't have enough time to actually make a wild lore test, but just in this case, I'll
That's 17.
Yeah, you can't tell.
All right. Well, being unable to tell, Gilfek's unsure. He knows Blogbear's bleeding out on the ground, and he's going to make a rash decision he might come later to regret. And he's going to rush over and grab the jar and toss it at the thing, trying to hit it in the face, hoping the stench will scare it away.
Yeah. Okay. Make an attack roll, man.
Would I add anything to this attack roll?
Technically, you're making a ranged attack, so just 2d8 plus your physique.
All right. And I got a 12.
Okay. Yeah. So you this clay jar with this awful smelling yellow pudding in there spatters all over the thing's nose, and it shakes its heads violently, and it bolts back down a kind of a path through the village, taking 2 of those arrows with it.
Which, of course, that means that Sheehan will bolt after it. So,
with Sheehan bolting after it, Gilfek is confused. Like, he doesn't really know why. Sheehan's chasing this thing down, but he's going to rush over to Blogbeer. No apothecary. He's just going to start trying to do something to stem the bleeding. He'll just start grabbing a spearhead to cut pieces of his clothes off to try to make makeshift bandages or something. But can I even make a roll with no apothecary?
Technically not, but for the sake of dramatics, I absolutely would let you.
Because I believe he has 1 turn to live, I think, right?
He has 1 left. Yeah.
I got an 8 and a 1 on my roll. What is that?
Oh, son of a bitch!
So what is that? What happens with that?
That's a meager attempt, I believe.
Oh my god. Yeah, so that's just what is your spirit modifier?
+3.
Plus oh shit. Um
Get to it.
so yeah, that's a oh it's,
It's
damn, that's
12.
an 11. What's that?
Be a 12, wouldn't it? Because it'd be a 9 plus 3.
Well, you're actually not supposed to count the one. That's a
Okay.
secret.
Yeah,
So yeah,
an
So
11.
11.
8.
11
Yeah.
then.
So that actually oh fuck, that doesn't do it. Well, you guys actually been doing a fantastic job, and to my everlasting shame, I did not give you any bonus narrator dice. So go ahead and make another die roll there, Alan. I will be fined a die roll.
An additional 4 to that roll, making it a 15.
Oh, okay, so yeah, you are able to stabilize him, but he's real bad. You have no idea what you were doing, but desperation bred proficiency, and you are able to stuff bits of dirty cloth into his open wounds to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, but now Gilfek will be like his shirt and pants are going to be torn and missing bits and pieces here and there. Pieces of his body is exposed to the elements. His Blogveer lays on the ground, a bloody mess with dirty cloth shoved in every single hole that he could find a hole to shove it into.
Oh, no.
So,
That's not a wound.
since we're technically still in combat rounds, this Hydra, kind of like River Hydra monitor lizard, it's beaten cheeks back to this river to kind of like disappear into the drink there, and it kind of thrashes its nose around in the water to clean off its snout. What does Sheehan do?
As soon as he gets an open shot, he's taking another shot at this thing. This time using one of his bronze tip arrows. So
All right, go for it.
that is going to be a 16.
That hits.
All right.
Roll damage, Bubba.
7 points.
7 points. All right, you can now describe for us how you slay the beast.
Okay, so as this thing puts its head in the water, thrashing around to get the whatever it is off of its face, as Sheehan basically comes up over the rise for this at the edge of the bank, this thing is slid down, and in desperation fires a shot of this arrow down into the back of this thing. It pierces just behind where the four heads join, and apparently hits some kind of a proto brain or something like that as the thing's heads stop thrashing about. The body continues to writhe, but it seems to have finally finished this thing off, and he goes down immediately to try to retrieve his 2 new arrows, as he was told by the Pike Lord that he must retrieve them.
So,
yes, to him.
With the thrashing that the Hydra has caused there, the river is going to be rather murky, so he's going to have to swim through the cloudy water in hopes to find it. Go ahead and make an awareness test, please.
Okay. 12.
Oh my god, fantastic. Not even slowed down. You find them both.
Okay. And he will hightail it out of the water as fast as he can, because there's things out there that eat Fae. So, and then he'll move away from the river back up to where his friends have fallen.
All All right. So, what is Gilfek's his spirit modifier?
He has a +3 spirit modifier.
No, okay, it's a +3. Okay, so what you do is you bring, um, oh my god, I can't talk tonight. You bring Blogveer to 3 vitality, and he's no, he's barely conscious at this point. He's as he was being ravaged. As soon as Sheehan comes back, Blogveer will be roused and he'll be awake.
What? Where am I? Am I dead?
Oh no! That's twice you almost got yourself killed, Blog. It's like Gilfek will hold onto his side where he was nipped at by the beast, and a nip from that creature is enough to take a small chunk out of him. He has blood all over his side. He's not like unnecessarily danger of bleeding to death, but he's definitely bloodied a bit with a pretty nasty scar that's going to be left.
I told you the water's trying to kill me.
No, that's just one of those things. You must be part Fae, because that was a four-headed one of those things, and it came straight for you. So I mean, that just proves it. Ogres are part Fae.
And maybe they just like ogre meat better.
That's a
God damn it.
possibility. That is a possibility.
I'm making a fool of myself. Can't even put up a fight against a river monster.
It happens. Those things are nasty. Trust me. The last time I encountered one of those things, it half swallowed me.
Just look down at my dirty, rag-covered wound. Like,
Oh, yes. Yes, this must be your work, Gil.
Aye. You should be thanking me. You'd have bled to death by now if it wasn't for me.
True.
Now, for the bad news, we lost the finger.
What did the thing eat it?
I threw it at the thing to chase it off from your body before you bled to death.
Oh. Well, we know it was pointing in there. So
That's true. So
I think I'll just lie here if you don't mind, though.
I'll keep an eye on the outside with you, just in case something else decides to come up and try to finish you off. Go ahead and see what's in there, Gil. So.
Blogbeer grabs his cudgel and grips it tightly as he's just laying on the ground in his own blood.
Gilfek let out a heavy sigh and then march on into the temple alone in the dark.
There is a portion of the ceiling that, or excuse me, the roof that has caved in, so it gives off a bit of the midday sun in there. There are kind of like flowering vines that kind of hang from the ceiling, and there's a font in the center of this building that has a white flower growing in a lily pad in the center of this thing.
Well, without the finger's guidance, he can only assume that this flower is what they came for. And he's going to walk over to it on this solitary flower on the lily pad. And there there anything else in this room? Like, is there like any extra rooms, extra doors, or any signs of habitation of any kind in here?
There are 2 doors in the back of the temple that, well, not doors, but archways that go into the, he probably assumed the sanctuary beyond. But those are, one of which is covered by a kind of a privacy tapestry, and another one, the tapestry is all moldering on the floor.
And it doesn't look like there's been anyone here for some time.
Oh no, many cycles.
So he'll go over and reach out and try to touch this flower.
As soon as you touch it, The flower turns pink.
He like recoils his hand quickly. He's. Could I make any kind of roll to know what's going on here?
Make an intuition test there. That is based on your sight.
All right. So that's gonna be a 7.
Oh, okay. You don't feel anything hostile here, but there is a there is some sorcery at play. We'll put it that way.
He's gonna reluctantly try to take the flower.
How do you do that?
He's gonna try to just pluck the flower.
As you go ahead and try and do that, the flower is kind of like attached to the lily pad that it's on. If you want to take it off of the lily pad, you can. Otherwise, you could possibly snake your hand underneath and take the whole thing.
He's
'Cause
just
it-
gonna err on the side of caution and take the whole thing.
Okay. The flower goes back to its original white color, and you pick up the whole lily pad, and currently nothing happens.
And he's going to make haste for the exit before something does happen.
You rejoin your companions, and we now see Gil holding a lily pad with a white flower on it.
I think this is maybe what we were here to get.
Do a wilderness lore test. See if I can recognize the flower. That's going to be 13.
You've not seen one of these things in person before, but you've heard of certain lily pads or certain white flowers that bloom white or pink that are sacred to the goddess Vastru.
Oh,
They're
okay.
kind of representative of femininity, like
Okay.
how would you say, in a vague sexual nature, we'll say.
Okay. Bostry flower. Nice. We should take care of that. So, I guess. Can you walk, Blugger?
He's gonna need to make a physique test to stand.
17.
Okay, yes, you haul yourself to your feet, and yes, you can walk.
Yeah, just a flesh wound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We probably need to get somewhere away from here because all this blood and such might attract other predators. So
We've lost a finger, so let's hope this is the last thing we needed to find.
I hope so too.
It is now. We should head back to Babushka.
We should.
I'll take the blame for breaking the magic item.
Well, it was your fault.
Yeah, I'll leave out the part where I did it to save you.
Well,
We'll make up something useful.
So, for each day that Blogfear is on the mend, he will gain 3 vitality. He'll get 1 vitality per day plus Gilfek's spirit modifier. So until he's max vitality again, you will get 4 per day. That's how that
okay.
goes. Now, it will take you 2 days to get back to the village. So we'll just skip and use that passage of time there.
Also, whenever we make camp, Gilfek will ask Blogbeard to tend to his wounds.
Oh, perfect. All right. We'll have Blogbeard make an apothecary test out.
All right. That is a 15.
All right, well done. And what is his spirit modifier?
1.
So yeah, you'll get 2 vitality per day.
All right.
So 2 days later, adjust your vitality accordingly. You return to the babushka's home, and Skarnir is still dealing with his mount. Um, the floor is yours, gentlemen.
Damn you and your horse, Garnier. We could have used you. That fire axe would have came in handy.
Could use the horse too. Could use the horse for food.
No, we are not eating my horse.
If the horse was there, maybe the creature would have went for it instead of me.
True.
Oh, maybe that's a good thing that I did not join you then.
Maybe.
What exactly happened to you two, to you three?
I'll let Redblade tell it. I'm going to Babushka. I'll hop over to Babushka.
Giant 4-headed salamander. Apparently, like ogre's better than Fae.
It had 4 heads.
Yes, 4 heads. I counted them twice.
That's monstrous. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to see that you're back in one piece then.
I am. Well, we almost lost Bloodbeer, but, that happens.
It's becoming commonplace.
Mm-hmm. He broke a finger hitting a rock.
Gilfek will head to the babusha as well. He's kind of gathered all the ingredients they have in an attempt to, he's going to present them to her to try to hopefully soften her up before he tells her about losing the finger. And
okay, all right.
he's going to go in there and he's like, Babushka, we've gathered the ingredients for you.
Oh, lovely. Well,
he presents them all across the a table for her to examine.
And the finger?
We've lost it.
You've lost it.
I lost it.
Well, how by all the gods did you lose such a thing? It smelled awful enough. Did
I
your
broke
nose
the
stop
jar.
working? How did you break the jar?
Like he kind of looks down a little bit.
She finally looks over at Blogbear and goes, "What in all the hells happened to you?" I see how bloodied and pockmarked he is.
It was a 4-headed water demon, and Gilfek threw the finger at it to deter it from eating me.
Oh. Well, I will have to remember that recipe and then hopes to repel 4-headed water demons in the future then. Minus the finger. And what about the other 2 things?
This is all we could find.
And that's when you lost the finger.
Yes.
Ah, I see.
It was my fault, Babushka. If I hadn't got attacked by the water demon, he wouldn't have to throw the finger at it. Here, take my finger. You can replace it. It's already broken.
Your fingers are too large. We would need a barrel for it.
Well, you can just chop it up in little pieces and use what works.
No, it must
Go
be
ahead,
a whole
Babushka.
finger.
I insist. I deserve it. Go ahead.
No,
I'm not gonna look.
I would prefer one of Sheehan's fingers, but he.
Okay, I'll go get him. Hold on. Sheehan!
He is unwilling to sacrifice one of his fingers.
I'm hiding.
He's hiding. No, but I will go and retrieve the other 2 things on my own. Then you boys must rest for a few days. And
What about water monsters?
well, I suggest you stay away from the water from now on.
No, but what about you, Babushka? They're gonna come for you.
Oh, old ladies like myself don't taste good. Don't you worry about me.
No, but you're tender and sweet. They'll come straight for you.
Oh, you're too kind. She just reaches up and if you're sitting, she'll pat your cheek.
He looks genuinely terrified for her life. Like, Babushka, don't go out there. But please, I beg you.
No, I shall be fine. I'm a tough old bitch. I'll be all right.
I can escort at least. You hear from the shadows.
You hear from the shadow.
Is that you, Red Blade? Who
No.
are you?
No, it's not me. It's a demon. The Babushka demon. Nice. Nah.
I won't
Oh,
be ready
God,
for
about
these
that.
things in a few days yet, so all is well. All shall be well.
We should probably get ourselves ready to help you perform your ritual and get ourselves clean and healthy. Especially these two. They keep getting into trouble all the time.
Well, you sit back there and shoot arrows. I mean, of course, you're just sitting there not hurt. Shoot
That's
arrows
sensible.
at them.
That's sensible, though.
Yeah, but
If
damn
you
it, get in
shoot,
there, stab him one time.
well, if you shoot it from a distance, it can't hurt you and it dies.
Damn Faye and the arrows.
Mm-hmm. Well, me at least. Actually, the preferred weapon of my people is the spear.
Wait a second. Looks at
I'm weird.
Gilfek. Looks at Sheehan. The roles are reversed.
Mhm.
Gilfek, you're really a Fae, aren't you?
I ain't the bloody Fae.
I knew it.
You're all Fae, so.
The babushka, she, thank you, boys. I will render this ore down and make some silver trinkets for the ritual. You boys, run along, and I will see you in a few days. I will holler for you.
We'll be here.
You're too kind, Babushka. Thank you for your forgiveness.
Now, for the rest of this day, what does the party wish to do here?
Logveer is going to get new wrappings for his wounds and then grab as much mead, wine, whatever as he can and drink himself into a stupor.
Well, there you go, man.
Gilfek will actually go out and ask around the village to try to find the Babushka's favorite food, and then try to go favorite meat, and then try to hunt an animal that she likes and try to bring her a gift as an apology because he feels really bad for losing her finger.
Ooh, that's actually rather interesting. What does she like?
Beardish fingers.
Beardish finger.
The delicacy to babushkas all around.
Right. Regardless of the species, they all like bearded fingers.
Most women do.
Oh my god. Now, no, she will. She has a thing for the meat of the elk.
Would there be any such in the vicinity of the village?
It would take a few days of hunting, but you're pretty confident in your ability to track down something like that.
That's what he'll be trying to do then. Like, he'll be trying to track one. He'll inform his companions. He's going to try to get the babushka a gift and be trying to track down an elk.
Okay.
Well, Blogbear's drunk into unconsciousness, so he's just like.
Yeah, you be about that.
Well, Sheehan's going to go tell some stories about this four-headed giant salamander that apparently likes ogre meat. And
some of the people of the village are actually, yeah, that is, yeah, those are a thing. But it's called a hydra.
a hydra.
It's not a salamander in any way. It's a giant, multi-headed predatory lizard.
Interesting. But no, well, out of the way, it came out of the water. And it had four heads, and it attacked the ogre, and we killed it all. So, and I sort of do a bit of a story about how I had to finish it off while the other two stayed back and nursed their wounds. I stalked it heroically through the streets of this abandoned town, playing cat and mouse. And as it was wounded, it was a beast that was cornered and was extremely dangerous. And I risked my life, but of course the thing couldn't touch me because being a lord of the uncivil court of the Fae, I was able to evade it and exact justice upon it with my bow.
A couple of the village women are very impressed by you being such a proficient huntsmaster, but a couple of the men are just like, yeah, sure you did.
I'm not trying to impress them. I just sort of smile at them and see if I can bounce one of these young ladies off my knee. So.
But a couple of the guys say, "Oh, well, no, the hydras stalk the larger beasts of the plains as well as the forests. They're regarded as the apex predator in the kind of the borderlands, and to take one of these things down is kind of regarded as a heroic thing. Only Arborians are able to bring these things down, or heroes of old. But and they do say King Shelkesh of Nemercia, and they reference the king that lives about 25 miles south on the river city. He's actually slain one in single combat. So he's the only these villagers. The king is the only one that they know of who's of their kind that has done such a feat.
Well, I could have done. I could have done it myself, of course. Well, I probably could have, but I did have the assistance of Gilfrick. His spear was instrumental in distracting the beast while I plied it with my arrows. And well, of course, Blogveer, poor Blogveer. Just ogres are not very agile, and this thing was just too quick for him.
A couple of the women are quite concerned about Blogveer. He very much, in reference to his ripped apart nature. Oh no, is he okay?
He does need some tending, ladies. So, and as they all leave, not all of you though.
We'll say of the 12 gals that you have there, 7 of them go off to fawn over Blogveer.
You're welcome, Blogveer. I'll go ahead and spin a bit of tales about Gilfrick as well, and how he was able to confound the beast with his spear and his beard. He tried to lunge for him, but bit the beard instead of the bearded folk, and that was that way allowed him to get a spear into its side and cripple it so it couldn't run away.
So one of the more enthralled ladies is so the beard does protect their person like a shield.
Oh yes, those things. If when a bearded folk gets properly enraged or aroused, the beard itself lashes out almost like the heads of serpents and confounds those who are attacking it, or strokes the soft bits of the young bearded folk maidens.
Beautiful. Are you hearing this, Alan?
Gilfrick is going to be out tracking right now, so he wouldn't be able to hear these tales.
No.
But
That's canon, dude. That's canon right there.
Wait till he comes back.
Of course.
Yeah.
So some of the men are fed up with your Fey turn of phrase and the stealing of their women, so they bugger off. But the priest Shelka comes over and with a kind of a teasing eyebrow cocked. He says, "You're angering the warriors of the village. They think that you are stealing the village women from them."
Oh no, not at all. That is not my intention at all. So
His
I'm
his
just
eyebrow disappears into his hairline there. He goes, I will resist the urge to tell the chieftain that you must leave, and as you are threatening our warriors here. Hmm?
that I would never do such a horrible thing as to steal these women away from the strong men of this village. So I'm just a passing traveler um, who has you know sought shelter here. I will. He gets up and you know gently sets the young lady who was sitting on his lap to the side. He says, "I'll take my leave. I apologize. I truly did not mean to offend in that way." So
Oh, I am not. I am not turning you away. I am simply informing you of that. That is what the word going around is.
ah
He says this with a smile.
well, I think they have more to fear from the gentle ministrations of the British folks' beard than they do of me stealing their lady folks away.
Ah, well, then I will have to have a talk with the the aroused and enraged beard of our bearded resident as he looks around for Gilfek but doesn't see him anywhere.
I think he's out hunting.
Oh, well, excellent. Well, maybe his beard will help him bring something back.
I hear it does. It catches birds from the air, from what I understand. Just
he laughs at that and goes, "All right,
yeah.
I bid you a good afternoon, Sheehan."
And with that, of course, Sheehan gives him a bit of a wink and that mischievous twinkle in his eye, and she had to go find somewhere nice and quiet where he can sit and just I guess contemplate the day. So try to take a nap.
As it turns out, it's actually a very full few days for you. A few days hence, and we'll be back on the road. But here, we will end the session. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. This week and next week, we will be back on the 14th for it'll be session 10 now. Oh, this is actually going to be the longest session. Excuse me, the longest campaign that I've run online.
Excellent.
Good stuff, and we have more. Maybe like a dozen and a half more sessions left in this story arc. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.